And now, in studio, bringing his Midwest values from the Show Me State to the land of San Diego. He's a triple threat, licensed as an attorney, mortgage broker, and a top producing realtor who's crushing the competition. Here to deliver you what's happening in the trenches of the market. Your host, Michael Gaddis.
Welcome to the Michael Gaddis Show on AM 1170 The Answer. I am your host, Michael Gaddis of michaelgaddis.com and frontierloangroup.com. I am here every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. to talk about anything and everything related to real estate, and sometimes things that are very, very tangentially related to real estate, including travel. And my very special guest today is Robert Kenyon of First Cabin Travel. Thank you, Robert, for coming in today.
Thank you for having me back, Michael. It's always great to be here, and I appreciate the invitation.
And as you all know, Robert is one of the most amazing people that I've met because he has traveled to 172 countries. That's right, 172. And that's a lot of countries.
It's a lot of countries, considering that there are 196 if you count Taiwan. So yes, I hadn't been to all, and we were just speaking with a young lady here from Frontier Loan. She's been to Cuba, so she's become my new envy.
Because if you go there, that would be 173,
yeah.
right?
I would change 172 countries for Cuba.
And that's, by the way, that's Michelle Herrera of Frontier Loan Group. She's here today as well. She's going to co-host with me today. So thank you, Michelle, as well.
Thank you, Michael.
And one of the reasons why I asked Michelle to sit in on this particular segment is because Michelle is a travel lover as well. She's anytime a plane ticket is there, she's ready to jump on. She doesn't care where it's going. She just wants to go.
Sometimes.
So Robert, tell us a little bit about what's going on. Now, I was telling her a little bit on the way up here about the travel special that you have over in Southeast Asia, because for some reason it's that particular special that really kind of just, I'm really drawn to it because of the exotic nature of Southeast Asia. And here's the other reason I'm attracted to it, and I'll just say this and then I'll let you tell about the special itself. I'm attracted to it because although I'm attracted to go to Southeast Asia, I'm a little bit scared to go there, just on my own or just, winging it. I think I need some sort of special guidance, and I guess I could go with a big giant travel group or something like that, but I hate those big travel groups because they send me around on buses. And they have like this stopwatch, and that you always feel like you're, over your time, and you can't really enjoy it because you never know when they're going to make you get back on the bus. But that's why I'm really drawn to the package that you have in Southeast Asia. So why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
I'll be happy to do that. And the bus tours that you're speaking of really are, to me, one of the ways not to go. It's great because I think the pricing can be down, but think if you're 45 people on a bus, and I always think about it in this light. And you're out and say, let's take Europe, for instance. So you're going on a 19-day tour and you can visit X amount of countries, which usually they list 19 days, 21 countries. Try that, it's a little bit hard to do. But here you are, you have 45 people on the bus, you just got on the coach after having breakfast, a few coffees, etc. So an hour down the road, what you have to do, you have to make a rest stop. And so 45 people get off the bus to make that rest stop. How long do you think that takes? And how much time then do you think you have to take away from your itinerary? So I always pictured in my mind that you're going past Belgium and the driver says, look to your left, that's Belgium. And he has to keep going forward because he has to make up the time that he lost. What I prefer to do and what I have offered, and mind you, I started this in 1989. And so First Cabin Travel has been doing it for 27 years. And I have friendships that I created over the years, in the early years from 1989 on. And those folks are still in place. We're still friends, we're still in contact, we speak frequently during the week. I offer that when you get into the country, let's take probably our most popular tour, and that's Hanoi to Angkor Wat. So you're doing Vietnam, you're doing Cambodia, and you're doing Laos. And when you arrive in Hanoi, you get a private car, you get your private driver, and they pick you up at the airport, meet you there. And then you go into the city, you find your hotel with them, of course, and they check you into the hotel. You have breakfast and lunch each and every day, and for that particular tour, Hanoi to Angkor Wat, it's $235 per person per day.
Wow.
It's just incredible. And the great thing about it is when you're out on that tour that day, if you get to a particular point that is a highlight and you enjoy it, if you're there with 45 people, a good part of them are going to enjoy it more than you perhaps, another part want to leave immediately. When is it that you leave? What kind of control do you have? You have very little. When you're there with your private car, private driver, private guide, you can say, you know, we'd like to stay an extra half an hour. Fine. We'd like to leave in 3 minutes. Great. You control all of that. I think it's an enormous difference. And particularly with people who are, you know, not everyone goes to Asia on that particular kind of tour every other year. You might go to Mexico every other year. You might go to Hawaii every year. But you're going to Asia, going to Africa, whatever, perhaps once or twice in your lifetime. So when you do it right.
Well, you're listening to the Michael Gaddis Show on AM 1170 The Answer. I am Michael Gaddis of michaelgaddis.com and frontierloangroup.com. And we're joined today by Robert Kenyon of First Cabin Travel. You know, one of the things that you just said that really kind of made me chuckle when I was over here is you're talking about the bathroom breaks on the bus. And I went to Mexico, I went to Yucatan, I went to Chichen Itza, you know, the pyramid down there, the Mayan pyramid. I was on we were on a van, and there were 16 people in the van. I kid you not, it seems like the people in the back needed to go to the restroom like every 5 miles. And then we get off, and everyone, and everybody would because they'd always stop at a place that had a little shop in it, right, and conveniently, right? Exactly. So they stop at a shop, and then everybody would get out of the van, and then they just spread out. And then it would take us a while. It's like herding cats, trying to get everybody back onto the van. And I'm like, enough already. Let's get in the van and get to that pyramid. That's where I want to go, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I can imagine that with 45 people, you bring them out. And of course, believe it or not, these bus people, there are certain stops they know where to stop because they have agreements with people to drop you off at these places. And as soon as you jump off, you know, you're getting hit by everybody trying to sell you everything in the sun, and then everyone goes, oh, let me get a souvenir here. And nobody seems to be on the same page, and you just lose precious time, and it's annoying to me.
But you start eliminating things on the itinerary. There's just no other choice. I mean, you just can't, because when you're putting out a brochure, everybody that puts out a brochure wants to tuck in as much as possible in that brochure to show what you're getting for the value of it all. And so when you look at that brochure, if you're sitting on that coach and everybody's at a shop, everybody's at a restroom, everybody's wherever, you start ticking off the things that you're not going to see. That's no fun.
No, that's no fun at all. And see, I'm a travel lover, as Michelle is as well. And one of the things I like to do whenever I go places is I like to find the top 10 things to do in that particular area. And, you know, I might have a general itinerary of what I want to do, but I still want to hit some little things that, you know, might be unusual and things like that. And so, like when I went to Paris, that's what I did. I looked at the top things to do in Paris, and I made sure that I was hitting all of these things that I thought of, like obviously the Eiffel Tower, the Louvre, you know, those are obvious. But then I started finding things that I might not have thought was unusual. And when you go on those big bus tours, it's impossible to do that. But with your itinerary that you have set up, you were telling me in one of the previous shows that you can modify it. You know, if you wanted to stay someplace a little bit longer, you could do that. You could kind of do what you want to do. Isn't that right?
Oh, it is right. I mean, within a certain range. I mean, you look at the itinerary that we prepare, and we discuss it with the client before they go out, obviously. We have some suggested itineraries, and we do modular itineraries. I'm sending a family of 4 it is, and amazingly, they're taking a 6-year-old child with them, and they're going to Asia. They're going into Hanoi, they're going to Cambodia, into Angkor Wat, and they're going down to Saigon. That was a little bit of a twist, and that was a little bit of a new phase for me. I've not done any tour with a 6-year-old child, so we had to make some adjustments for them, and they're about to leave. In fact, they're leaving in a couple of days. So,
Robert,
yes.
do you mind if I ask you
Oh,
something?
please.
What's the language barrier there?
Language barrier in Vietnam, they're going to speak Vietnamese. It's not like going to Europe. I mean, that's another reason you really need a guide, because a guide and a good driver. And the thing about Asia, you know, you can go on the internet. The internet is a fabulous place to go, obviously, because you can do a lot of research. And you can find these other tour companies. And mind you, I'll repeat it again, but I've been doing this since 1989, 27 years. So I look at these tours that are offered for the price that they're offering them, and I know that somewhere along the line they have to cut something because it's impossible to do it for that price. And if you're getting it from, and they've got some local companies out there, so I imagine that this little kiosk in Saigon is set up, you know, to capture hut, and that's their operation. You're not kind of away, and your driver doesn't show up. What do you do? I have a great. And the language barrier is there. Very good point, Michelle. But I have on my website, which is firstcabin.com. If you go there and look at the blogs, take a look at what the title is. Have you seen my driver? And it's a great blog about what might happen to you if you go out there with a company that you might not really know and perhaps shouldn't trust.
And mind you, you're not going to Europe where, as you mentioned, most people's, most have somewhat of a command of English. I mean, you're going to basically third world countries where there's nothing, and the American influence is not quite what it was, or what it is in Europe and some of the other countries. So you're stuck there, and if you don't have, and I think that's what we'll talk a little bit about when we get back from break, Robert. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about, because we had talked about this before, about the guy with the visa, the issue with that. I want you to talk about that, because having someone like you, where you're kind of boots on the ground here, and you're a lifeline of communication because you know everything that's going on in these particular countries, and you know the people that you're sending them to, it's really important to have someone like you versus one of those faceless, internet companies or something like that, where there's nobody there to help you when something goes wrong. And we're going to talk about that after the break. So after the break, we're going to continue talking to Robert Kenyon of firstcabin.com. You're listening to the Michael Gaddis Show on AM 1170, The Answer.